Yo, Pavy Daily Takes. I haven't done one of these in a very, very long time, but I'm back today. Just want to talk about the NBA trade deadline. For one, uh, it's been a lot of. It's actually been a kind of. I didn't think it was actually gonna be that eventful on this trade deadline, but it actually turned out to be a very, very eventful trade deadline. The first thing I want to talk about, obviously, the first trade that the maybe the biggest trade that went down, I think, is the D'Lo to the Timberwolves for Andrew Wiggins. With some picks involved as well, but really D'Lo for Wiggins. For one, I know like Warriors fans was all like, if cats are in discussion, why are we having conversations about D'Lo? Honestly, I thought the reason why the trade didn't get done sooner was the fact that I think the Warriors thought D'Lo was worth more than what teams thought D'Lo was worth. I think Andrew Wiggins for D'Lo was a good trade for both teams actually. The Warriors for when they also get draft compensation. I think the 2021 pick is top three protected. Obviously with D'Lo, I don't think that they'll be able to um, be bad enough to have it be in the top three. So I think that the Warriors will end up eventually getting that pick, possibly a lottery pick next year. So that's one thing good. And you get Wiggins. Like Wiggins is a good basketball player. I think that people judge Andrew Wiggins based off of where he was drafted, and they don't judge Andrew Wiggins based off of his play. I think when you like anytime you draft somebody number one, you kind of want them to be a superstar. And Andrew Wiggins definitely has proved that he's not some superstar, but I think he's a very good basketball player, man. Like the man was averaging 23 points at 21 years old. Then kind of after that season, what happened in my opinion was they bring in Jimmy, who basically plays the same position as Wiggins, wants to come in, wants to handle the ball, wants to be that scorer, that go-to guy, shoot the ball, takes away shots from him. Then you bring in Derrick Rose, who is halfway out the league, so he's just trying to, really kind of play and secure himself back in the NBA. So he going 1,000 miles per minute, taking shots. Then you bring in T, another scoring guard, again taking shots away from Wiggins. And you see this year he's kind of returned back to form. He was top 20, top 25 in the league in scoring. I think he's still there. I think he's at like 22 right now. Kind of fell off the past couple of months, but that's big because for one, Cat was out. Also, I think he had like a death in the family. T came back. T was hurt. T came back to take more shots. And also, he was getting the best perimeter defender. Now, him going to Golden State, he doesn't have to get the best perimeter defender every single night because you got to worry about Clay and you got to worry about Steph. And also, he can just be somewhere in a culture, in like an actual winning culture, which Minnesota didn't have. He's never been coached by somebody like Steve Kerr. And when you look at what the Warriors did with Harrison Barnes, personally, I think Andrew Wiggins is a better basketball player than Harrison Barnes, hands down. I think he is. Harrison Barnes has never in his career had the season that Andrew Wiggins had when he was 21 years old. Harrison Barnes barely has had as good of a season as Andrew Wiggins' worst season in the league. So I think it's a great pickup, man. I just think that people let the internet and narratives influence how they feel about Andrew Wiggins. For one, I know I saw some that say he had the worst defensive rating for I guess anybody since he came into the league. Well, the T-Wolves been one of the worst defensive teams since he came into the league, and I think he plays I think he's averaged he's played all 82 games for the most part, so he don't really miss games ever. And he's usually playing like 34, 35 minutes a night. If you play on a terrible defensive team, you play 82 games a season, and you out there basically for most of the game, for 3/4 of the game, your defensive rating is gonna be ass, and that's what it is. Like it's terrible. You don't play defense by yourself. You can look at anybody. Like when people are on. You can even look at Draymond this year. Like look at what his defensive rating is this year as opposed to what it was when the Warriors were tops in defense. Now obviously, Draymond may have taken a step back, but still, look at what it was when he was tops in defense as opposed to look at what it is now. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that people let narratives influence how they feel about Andrew Wiggins, and they don't really look at what Andrew Wiggins is actually doing on the basketball court and what he really brings to a basketball team. I just think that they just let, like I said, narratives kind of influence how they feel about Wiggins. And I think Wiggins will do great things in Golden State. I think he'll go on average 20 points. I think he'll be I know Thomas was TPJ was D'Lo can kind of substitute what KD brought in on offense. I disagree with that, but I think Wiggins can definitely substitute some of what KD brought in on offense. Obviously, KD is Kevin Durant. Nobody can replace Kevin Durant, but I think Wiggins, he's a good isolation scorer. Like the one thing that we know Wiggins can do is score the basketball. He's never had the issue with scoring the basketball. You want to talk about him playmaking, his rebounding, his effort, whatever. You can say he wasn't giving effort, still give you 18 points a game. There's not too many people in the NBA give you 18 points a game at his age. Also, he's still under 25. He can still keep growing. So again, I think Wiggins will do great things in Golden State, and I think that he'll prove a lot of people wrong. And I'm waiting to see it. I'm waiting to see it, man. Seriously, I'm waiting to see it. Like I said, I think he'll do great things with Golden State. And like I said, I can't wait to see it. As far as Minnesota, I think D'Lo, D'Lo is probably the best compliment they've given Cat since Cat has been in the league. For one, it's his friend. I don't think you can never discount the power of friendship. And the fact that playing with people that you just actually like and that you would actually hang out with. And D'Lo seems to be his friend. Also, I'm happy for D'Lo for the fact of finally he can kind of just get somewhere where he feels like at home. He's kind of bounced around the league a little bit. You went to LA, you get traded to Brooklyn, and you play in Brooklyn for basically what was it, a year and a half or 2 years. Then you get traded, then you get basically you involved in a trade, go to Golden State for half a season. Now I feel like he's finally somewhere in Minnesota where he can actually settle in, and just play. So he can just settle in and literally just play basketball. I also think that they've cleared up their team a little bit. I think that the starting lineup going forward needs to kind of look something like D'Lo, Josh Okogie. I think he's their best perimeter defender. Even when Rocco was on the team, I thought that Josh was their best perimeter defender. Then you got Jared at the 3, at the 4. I don't even know who's left on the roster. I gotta look. And then whoever at the 4, I literally gotta look at the roster. I have not looked at the full depth chart. I'm just talking off memory. Whoever at the 4 really, and then Cat at the 5. I think that gives you a better defensive lineup. And offensively, I think that Cat and D'Lo have a chance to be a very offensively high-powered duo, especially in the pick and roll. You can have Cat pop, you can have a roll, and you can't you can't just both go with D'Lo because you got to worry about getting back to Cat. So I think that that's a great trade for them, and I think that it'll work wonders for them in the future. And yeah, I'm just happy that they finally got Cat, somebody to compliment him. And yeah, moving on, I want to talk about the Rockets and their trade that they made. For one, they picked up Bruno Caboclo. They traded Jordan Bell for Bruno Caboclo, which I think is a good trade. I think Bruno can stretch the floor a little bit. He can shoot. The long guy got a 7'7" wingspan. And if I think that D'Antoni's an innovator. To me, he's kind of like the Andy Reid of basketball. He hasn't won big yet, but he's innovated so much in his game and given so much to the game. Helped so many players out, helped so many careers, prolonged so many careers. You look at what he did for Boris Diaw. Look at what he's doing for Ben McLemore right now. I think he could do some of that for Bruno Caboclo. I think that he can. He's a guy came in really, really young. I think at 18, 19 years old. Played some time in the G League. He was actually really good over the summer in FIBA. I remember he played for the Brazil team in FIBA. He was actually really good in FIBA. Yeah, I think that he can help. People talk about them not having a big. Traded away Clint Capella, basically to get Robert Covington. The thing about it is for one, people are like, they don't have a big. How can they defend inside? People are just gonna post them up. Who posts? Who posts? Who in the NBA posts? Porzingis don't post. Rick Carlisle literally said we do not see Porzingis post-ups as an effective offensive option for us. He don't post. The Lakers, AD posts, but AD not like Shaq. He not gonna go out there and dunk on you. AD shooting fadeaways. He posting up and shooting fadeaways. That's not really threatening. He might give you drugs out there. He very well may give you 35, but I feel like AD kind of doesn't use his size to his advantage all the time. Like I said, he'll get a guard on you and do a hook shot or a fade away. He's not gonna punish you down low. He's a very, very finesse guy. So you can get away, with going small against AD because he's just a finesse player. That's who he is. They don't run plays for Dwight Howard. They don't run post-up plays for Dwight. They rarely run post-up plays for JaVale. So it's not like you're gonna get abused down low. Rudy Gobert, I love Gobert, but he has no post moves at all that he can remember. So who posts? The only person who posts really is Jokic. But with Jokic, I don't think Jokic giving you 40 points is the best version of Jokic. Also, the Nuggets play at such a slow pace, and the Rockets play at one of the fastest paces in the league. So the thought process is he gonna be tired as hell anyway from running up and down the court with us, and also with the fact that they play so high pace. They shoot so many threes. You can kind of get caught in the rhythm of the game. Excuse me. Just going up, down, 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 and you can get caught in that. And threes. Also, offensively, with Russ being on the team now, Capella didn't really add much. For one, he's in the paint all the time. That's Russ's area. And Russ is kind of like their big man. Honestly, like most of Russ's points come in the paint. That's where they come from. They just come in. They come in the paint. That being said, Capella don't need to be down there. Like, get away. So now you play 5 out. Everybody's on the perimeter. If you watch Russ this year, nobody can stay in front of him. There's nobody in the lane now. Like, you're big. Like, the rim protection that you thought you had is that the opposition thought they had is non-existent now because you're on the wing. You have to stick with Tucker in the corner. Granted, his 3-point shooting has fallen off a little bit recently, but you can't just leave him in the corner. Then you have Robert Covington, who last time he was a Rocket, and granted it was a small sample size, but he did shoot 40% from the corners. He's, I think, a 35% career 3-point shooter, so you can't just leave him alone. So now you're playing 5 out. Russ, ISO, get past whoever, 1-2 moves, go to the cup. If you can even collapse in time, it's a kick out to one of the corners. And if you don't collapse, it's a bucket every time. And then when we have to go in the half court and slow down, it's Harden world time. Dance, do your thing. Basically, we count on us shooting threes, you shooting twos, and us eliminating the reputation that you even have because of the fact that they're not going to be, down on the block anyway. And also, people are like, oh, they're going to get out-rebounded. The thing about it is you can gain rebound. Everybody can crash the boards. Luckily for the Rockets, you have Russell Westbrook, arguably the best rebounding guard ever. You have James Harden, who himself also is a very good rebounder. You have House, you have Capella, you have Gordon, so you can still crash the boards. You can face guard whatever big, and then just crash the boards. One thing I learned about the WNBA, I was, the final series, well, not the final series, but the Western Conference final series, the conference final series between the Sparks and the Sun, was that the Sun had very good rebounding guards. So even though, the bigs were good to get in there and go rebound, but the guards would also get in there and have 5-6 boards a game, which helps the bigs out. Also, people shoot so many threes in the NBA today where it's not like people shooting hook shots. Most of these rebounds are long rebounds or jump shots. Even with AD, he shoots a lot of threes. He not just dunking and shooting hook shot. His mostly step back. So you have the tendency for these rebounds to be long. If they're long rebounds, just collapse, get the ball, we instantly out on the break. So I don't think that them playing with, PJ Tucker at center hurts them as much as people think it does. I actually think it helps them a lot more than what people think it does. I just think people think it very conventionally when they, think about them not having a center because of the fact that there's no real, it's not like you playing against Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon. They're none of those guys. And if they are those guys are on the perimeter somewhere. Nobody's going to really punish you down low. They just aren't. They just physically just aren't. Teams don't play that way today. So I don't think it hurts them as much as people think it will hurt them down the stretch and into the playoffs. And look, I'm gonna give them a shot. I'm honestly, man, I'm gonna still give them a shot to beat anybody, especially with the fact of you just create so much driving room for Russ, and you see what Russ has been doing this season without some of the driving room because Capella was still down there. And look, man, I'm gonna still give them a shot. I think the Clippers got better today, and I'll discuss that, but I'm gonna still give them a shot, man. Again, I can think when you got a backcourt that's that high power, you got EG, you got Malcolm out there, now you add Rocco, now you can also switch everything and go back to doing that. That's one thing that they couldn't do this season, for the past they could for the past 2 seasons, they couldn't switch everything. Now you can go back to switching everything. You can guard all 5 positions. Everybody can switch on everybody. Harden's a good post defender. Russ is strong. EG is a good post defender. So I think defensively they should improve some. And hey, I'm gonna give them a shot. I'm honestly, I'm give them a shot. And again, people say they were terrible defensively. What about the rim protection? They were 9th, 20th in defense anyway. Ain't like Capella was really giving you that much defensively. He just wasn't. What rim protection was Capella really offering regardless? I would rather prevent you from being able to even get to the rim because we can lock down on the perimeter than worry about you getting there and we got Capella there who really wasn't offering much anyway. He just wasn't. For the money they were paying Capella, Capella wasn't doing much. He just physically wasn't. Ain't like he had post moves that he could put to memory. Now, granted, he was a solid rebounder. He was, but a lot of that was because, like, a lot of the games when he had mad rebounds is because nobody else was in the paint. And also, Harden was missing mad threes, so it was mad offensive rebounds. You can get housed, you can get tucked to follow the shot, follow the ball, and still do that without, you know what I'm saying, Capella being out there. And you paying Russ so much money, you paying Harden so much money, you just signed EG to a contract. You can't really afford to pay Capella the 12, 13, $15 a year that they were paying him. So I think it'll be a good deal. I think it'll turn out fine. Like I said, everybody's thinking pretty conventionally when it comes to this Rockets thing, and I think D'Antoni's an innovator. And will it work? I don't know, but I'm excited to see it, and I think that it'll be much more of a seamless transition than what people think it will be. And yeah, as far as the Clippers picking up Marcus Morris, I think it's a good pickup. They didn't really give up too much. I know people was like, oh, well, I want the Lakers to get him. I don't think the Lakers, like, why? For one, Kuzma's contract wasn't enough to match up to what Morris is getting. You would have had to trade, Danny Green or somebody else that's in your backcourt. And I don't want to do that for Marcus Morris. Like, Grant, look, shout out Marcus Morris. I'm going to be covering him. So shout out Marcus Morris, good basketball player, solid player. But somewhere in the process of this trade deadline, Marcus Morris became like 2009 Melo to people. Marcus Morris is nice. I think that his numbers in New York are a little bit fool's gold. Obviously, he was a damn near no one option a lot of the times, the best scorer that they really had on the team, which is the reason why he was averaging 19 points. I don't think he's going to come to the Clippers and average 19. I think that what you saw him do in Boston the past couple of years would be more of an accurate representation of what Marcus Morris will do with the Clippers. That being said, I think he's a better shooter than what Mo Harkless is. A lot of those those corner threes that Mo got and missed, I think Marcus Morris will make. He's a solid defender. At least he gets after it. He got that dog in him. They got some nice, some nasty, gritty guys over there with the Clippers. They got Trez. They got Pat. Now you have Morrison. You got some nasty, gritty guys who, if I'm in a fight, those are the type of guys that I want around me. And that's what they have now. Headed by Kawhi. Doc himself was a dog as a player, a dog as a coach. Like, I like the guys that they got on their team. Now, granted, when it comes to locker room chemistry, it'll be interesting when it comes to locker room chemistry. Again, with, like I said, you do got some dogs on that team, but again, you got some dogs on that team. You got some guys who, they got to jail. I think that it'll be interesting to see what happens with this team when they hit some adversity and to see how this team responds and, to see how the guys react when they hit a little bit of adversity. But on paper, it looks good. I love the way it looks. I think it'll be a seamless transition. Honestly, I do. I really do. I don't think. I don't expect him to shoot 44% from three still. I think it might drop down to maybe 39% just because of attempts that he'll be getting. But I do think that he'll be better at hitting those corner 3-point shots that are going to be open for Pat. They're going to be open for Landry. They're going to be open for Marcus Morris. They're going to be open for these guys because Kawhi and Paul George would just zap up so much attention. Lou, too, would just zap up so much attention, which means the corners will be wide open for these guys. And, so shout out them. I'm excited to see it. I'll be covering it. And I think, again, it's a great move for him. As far as, Drummond went to Cleveland, I actually think Drummond to Cleveland can serve very well for them for the future. I think Tristan will probably be let go at the end of the season with the moves that everybody made, with Iggy going to Miami, which I think would be great for them. Iggy Crowder and Solomon Hill going to Miami. Just saw him play yesterday. The fact that you can run the zone and you can have, Derrick Jones Jr. and Jimmy at the top of the zone and you put Iggy on the side of the zone. I just think the defense in Miami is crazy. And they got some tough, nasty, strong guys as well, too. And I don't think Iggy's an elite wing defender anymore, but you can't discount his mind. And they play a lot of zone. And if you play against Giannis and you run in that zone, I think that, Iggy being able to just use his mind and get, to certain places, I think will help them out a lot. And I really like what they did, and I think that they've given themselves an even better shot to go to the finals this season. There's not any team in the East that I think Miami can't beat at this point. And they still didn't, sell away their future. Iggy's deal is a team option. They can decline it. They can pick it up next year if they want to. Most of the guys they picked up are still like, well, I think Solomon Hill's like a 1 year deal. I think he's got 1 year left on his deal. So that's cap room in the offseason. I think Crowder's on like a 1 year deal, so that's cap room in the offseason. You got Winslow off the books. I think he had like 2 or 3 years left, which for Memphis is good. I think that you kind of get another young guy to grow with Dylan Brooks and grow with Ja and grow with Brandon Clark and grow with Jaren Jackson. I like what they're building over there in Memphis as long as Winslow can stay on the court. I think that's a good trade as well. I think Miami has put themselves in contention to realistically be able to win the East. I think I said before the season, I think that they could win 50 games. I think that now that I don't see a team that they can't beat in the East. It'll be tough, obviously, but I don't see a team that I'm just looking at like, yo, Miami can't beat that team. I think they can beat anybody in the East, and that's including Milwaukee. But going back to the Clippers and Drummond, with, like I said, Memphis losing some cap space, certain teams losing cap space. I think that this offseason, Drummond may opt in to stay with Cleveland, or Cleveland can obviously pay him the most. And if money is what he's after, Cleveland can pay him the most. And I think it's a very intriguing situation for them as well. Like, you add in Drummond and you add in Love, that's the best front line. That's like that's basically an upgrade over Thompson. And I think Thompson and Love, I don't think that was the issue. I think Drummond is a borderline all-star guy. Giving you basically like 17 and 17 with 2 steals on a block. That's crazy production. You add that with Kevin Love, somebody stretch the floor out a little bit, and I think Cleveland could be back in the playoffs next year, man. I honestly do. You get a nice draft pick. You continue to grow Collin. You continue to grow Garland. You continue to grow Jetty. I think that they could be back in the playoffs next year, man. You don't really give up too much either. Obviously, it's Cleveland, so I think you don't really get guys to sign there. So you hope that you can be able to retain Drummond, which is also why I don't think they gave up too much for Drummond, because you might not be able to retain him. And Detroit probably realized he's going to decline this option anyway. He's not coming back, so we have to get something for them. So I think it'll be good for Cleveland. Honestly, I do. I like this move for them. And like I said, even 2 years ago, I didn't think that Cleveland was that far away from being back in the playoffs. And I think that next season, if they can retain Drummond, I think that they will be able to retain Drummond. They can pay him the most money, and just like the market isn't really going to have too many places for Drummond to even go this offseason. So I think they can retain Drummond, and if they do retain Drummond, I think they got really, really good playoff aspirations next season. Again, as long as Collin can keep improving, Garland can keep improving. Looks like you can't trade Love. Looks like Love might be stuck there, but you hope that bringing in Drummond, you can kind of convince Love to get more engaged and want to stay. There's not many places Kevin Love can really realistically go at this point. I don't think his contract is not the best. So I think Cleveland just keeping him and adding Drummond again. You got Love on the perimeter. You can have Drummond kind of anchor down that middle. He's bigger than Thompson. It's like having the same thing with Thompson, but he's just bigger and better than Thompson. So yeah, I think that's a good deal for them. All in all, man, I think the trade deadline was great. It was fun, it was exciting. I know there were some other trades as well, but I don't have time to go over everything fully. I'm in full right here. Just wanted to kind of get my thoughts off on those. I think probably those like the biggest deals. Actually, I'm gonna go look at the chat room, because y'all in the chat room, I have no idea what y'all are talking about. I have not looked at it once. I'm gonna go look at it and see what you guys are saying. I'll pick like 2 or 3 questions to answer. So if you haven't dropped any in there, drop some in there. I'll look at them now, answer some of you guys' questions, respond to some of you guys. I'm switching over right now, so let's see what's in there. With the Clippers waving Thomas, do you think they need a true PG or a true center more? I don't think the Clippers need anything. I think the Clippers need help. I think that Zubac has, even I actually got a chance to talk to Zubac yesterday, and he said he thinks the main thing that he's improved with defense, this season, is defense. I even asked him before the season what's one of his personal goals. He said to be one of the best defensive centers in the league. I don't think they need a point guard as well, because I think that Patrick Beverley has also been doing the job of point guard actually pretty well. Actually, Doc said that he's given him his play sheet. If you look at Pat, his assists have been nice every game. He's also been knocking the corner 3-point shot down. Also, Kawhi, even Doc spoke to it yesterday, is an elite playmaker. PG had 10 assists last night. Lou Williams is still a point guard. I know he's more of a scoring guard, but he's still a point guard. I don't think they need either. I think a lot of the issues with the Clippers is just health. They've had very few games this season in which they were just all healthy. I think they've had like 2 games this year in which everybody was healthy. Even last night, Pat Bev hurts his groin, so he's out for a half. Um, so yeah, I don't think the Clippers need either, man. I think the Clippers just need help. I think they need a 10 to 15 game stretch in which they get everybody on the court. I don't think they need a true point guard. You know, I mean, the ball's going to be in Kawhi and PG's hands a lot in the playoffs anyway as the game slows down. And you're going to trust them to just make the right play. I don't think they need a true point guard. I think Zubac is good enough at center. Zubac and Trez are both good enough at center. I don't think they need either. I've heard those things all year, but I don't think they need either. Like I said, I just think that they just need help. That's a real thing with the Clippers. It's just help. They just need guys to be healthy for a 10 to 15 game stretch so they can get on the court and figure out what everybody actually likes to do outside of practice. Certain things you can't work on in practice. You can't simulate, game intensity in practice no matter what you want to do. So again, that's all I think they need is just health, man. Health. I don't think they need no more roster changes. I like the Morris pickup. He's a better shooter than Mo Harkless, so you can't just double up on people. He's also a solid defender. I don't think they need a point guard. They don't need a center. All they need is help. I'm gonna take a couple more questions. Let's see what else is in there. If Zubac goes down, who's the tallest guy? I mean, yeah, but who really plays big? Like I think people get too focused on height. Who plays big? Also, Bev is a good rebounder. Kawhi's a good rebounder. Trez is a good rebounder. Marcus Morris can get in there and mix it up. It doesn't really matter, bro. Like most of the bigs that you're thinking about not playing their sides anyway, they all playing out on the perimeter. And Gobert, if you face him, love Gobert, but he has 0 post moves. Nobody is dumping the ball down to Gobert and being like, yo, give me a bucket. They just don't do that. It's either allowable or pick and roll. That's it. And if you can switch the pick and roll and cover the pick and roll, you'll be okay. Let's see what else. Rockets first round exit. I think it depends on matchup. I think that the Rockets have the most potential out of everybody, and they also could be a huge bust. I just think it really just depends on matchup. I think they get a favorable matchup. I honestly think they can make the conference finals or finals if they get a favorable matchup. I think that probably the hardest matchup for them would maybe be the Clippers. I think. I think the hardest matchup would maybe be the Lakers, just because again you do have to worry about size, and I think that if you talk about bigs and who plays big, even though I think AD does play a very finesse style, AD is a guy who can steal. At least he'll be somewhat in the post. Now, granted, it's a turnaround fade, it's a turnaround hook shot, but if it's going in, what you gonna do? As opposed to the rest of the guys, I just think that they don't play their size. And even with Jokic, he plays on the perimeter a lot as well. But I don't think Jokic giving you 30, 35, 40 points is the best way the Nuggets are going to win. I think Jokic giving you 22, 10, and 8 is the best way for the Nuggets to win. But the thing about the Lakers with the Rockets is their perimeter defense. But I think I said all year about the Lakers, I just question their perimeter defense. That's it. I question their perimeter defense. And now I would have said if Capella was there, I question, them being at the hole. But if Dwight or JaVale or AD got to be out on the perimeter, making sure that they don't forget about Tucker or they don't forget about Covington, then the fact that, you do have the size down low, you've kind of eliminated that factor from it all. But I got things to do. I got to get off of here. It was great talking with you guys today. I don't do these too often. I'm going to start doing it back more often. I really, really need to. Yeah, man, it's been Pavy Daily Takes. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's probably like the longest one ever. Gave you guys 30 minutes today. Granted, I didn't go over every single trade. We'll go more in depth on the next Hoops and Brews. But, yeah, man, it's been Pavy Daily Takes. Great talking with you guys today.